Welcome to the HAYVN Hubcast, a place to learn what business leaders, owners, and professionals are doing to navigate and grow in today's market. Hear from industry experts on everything from marketing, leadership, financing, and more. Brought to you by HAYVN, a co-working space where you can connect, create, and get stuff done.
Hello, and welcome again to another edition of the HAYVN Hubcast. I'm your host, Nancy Sheed, and I am excited to be here with Laura Incerto. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Nancy. Great to be with you.
So excited. Laura is a Fortune 500 professional as well as an entrepreneur, and she is here with her actual headline or her title of the founder of Women for Women. And we're here today to talk about connections and networking and building community. So, Laura, we're very excited to kind of dive right in. Can you tell us what Women to Women is?
Sure, Nancy. So about 2009, I would say the summer of, I live across the street from a delightful private beach called Pine Creek. And I was really in a mode in my life for meeting and connecting with nutritious women. And I decided to mention to a couple of girlfriends, that I wanted to do this, and would they be kind of my compatriot in the plight? And would they invite some friends of theirs to meet on the sand at 5:30 p.m. with their beach chair, their favorite beverage, and an appetizer to share? And I'm delighted to say that our first meeting attracted 20 women. It was incredible. And literally, they just wanted to come, put their feet in the sand and watch the sunset and just have conversation. So, my whole idea was to make connections and friendships. And I am just overwhelmed by the organic nature and the growth that this organization has experienced. We are not formal. We are not a .org. We are literally social networking, no RSVP required, no fee required. It's just come as you can, invite a friend. I always encourage inviting other friends and come and experience an amazing opportunity to meet great women.
Okay. And so here you are 14 to 15 years later and still going, but you kind of mentioned a few of these sort of basically almost the non-requirements, right? Like no
Right.
RSVP, not formal, whatever. Were there any kind of parameters when you gathered as a group, or have your parameters evolved in terms of, kind of age or stage or working status, marital status? And I don't mean to be exclusive, but, sometimes
Right.
people of similar natures kind of get together. So was there kind of a message in, if you're this or this is the group for you, or what does that look like when you're explaining your group?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And interestingly enough, no. We range literally in age from 21 to 88.
Oh, that's great.
And all in between. And that's what makes it so special. Because, with age comes knowledge, experience, and that nutritious factor I talk about. But the young set can't wait to come. And they're providing perspective to, all of us that are a little bit more seasoned, energy, dynamism, technology skills, in so many ways. And just a hope that age has nothing to do with living your life every day to the fullest. And the other thing that I really try to stress, because when you talk about a group and that it's a networking group, all of a sudden it kind of confines it to business. And that is not at all what this is about. This is about just coming to be who and what you want to be and what you want it to be. I didn't even in the beginning require name tags because I didn't want it to appear like every other networking group or activity that we can all go to. And the reason for not charging is because we can all go to a $30 event every night of the week if we want to make a connection But what good sometimes does that do? You're going with the auspice that you have to make something happen because you're paying for it.
Right.
In this instance, no charge makes it that much more relaxing, social, no pressure, because one thing women don't need in their lives is more pressure.
Mm.
And interestingly enough, having to bring something like an appetizer to share, bottle of wine, whatever they bring, that's pressure, believe it or not.
Uh-huh.
I try to make it easy if I can. So I do try to find host groups when we're not on the beach that will provide all that. So it takes one less pressure off of the women that come.
Well, I love the openness. And so that leads to, you mentioned name tags. That leads to my next question. Is there a structure to your actual meeting, right? Like, is there a sort of introductions? Do you have topics or themes? Is it a free-for-all? What's the magic in your sauce that makes these meetings and these gatherings so special?
It is definitely a free-for-all. And I do want to stress that. In other words, I don't want women to come feeling like they're not going to be able to walk up to people easily and meet. I mean, women do become intimidated by groups. It's just the way we flow, I guess. So I try to make it that much more comfortable by not making you sign up, put a name tag on. Like, I'll easily say, if you want to put a name tag on, I supply them. I would love to have your contact info if you wouldn't mind just putting your email address down. And I'll reach out to you on Facebook and add you to our page. It's not structured, in other words, but I do always get up and thank them for coming. And one of the things that has been so well received is when we go around the room and people just say who they are and why they're there or anything that they want to add. And I try to make it very short. It's not a sales pitch.
Right.
Because it's the women who own businesses that want to give the pitch, which is all good. Because when we do that around the room, and believe it or not, we've had meetings where there's 60 women.
Oh my
gosh. We're going around the room. Yeah. So, going around the room, I have to really manage that.
There's a timer involved, I imagine.
Exactly. But I ask them to say their name and, a little bit about themselves. And it does work very effectively because once that happens, someone on this side of the room now feels more comfortable to go to that person at the other side of the room because something resonated within them that I need to meet that person. I need to connect with that person. And that's something that I take such pride and pleasure in knowing that these connections have been created. They have been meaningful. And I'm always so happy when I'm at another Women for Women meeting a month or 2 or 6 down the road. And these two people have come together because that friendship was created. So it's a wonderful dynamic.
I love it. And you've shared, you started with 20, sometimes they grow to 60. What other, it sounds like you started at the beach. You now sometimes have other places that you go. What other things have changed in terms of how you gather? It sounds like it's you're very open to its flow, as it were. But what else has changed in your time of meeting?
Well, I'll be honest with you, Nancy. I have such incredible opportunity to expand this outside of my own little selfishly concentric Fairfield, Connecticut area. There are so many wonderful businesses that I'm sure outside of this area would love to host us. For instance, we've been down as far as HAYVN in Darien.
Awesome.
I have not encroached upon Stamford yet, but Norwalk has hosted us. Nordstrom department store did the most amazing hosting for us right after COVID, right when the world opened up, which was phenomenal. So I am looking at branching this out. So if that answers your question,
of course,
that would be the only thing that I could say is really wanting to change things up a bit.
You just spoke about COVID, and I'm very curious, Laura. In 2009, the world looked different than it does now, right? We were coming out of financial crisis. As things were definitely a little shaky here in the greater Fairfield County area, not to mention the world in general. We've since been through, hopefully coming out of COVID. how did that impact your gatherings? How did that also impact the nature of people, wanting to connect? Did you feel like, it became more of a burden? It became even more critical, or did it affect how you gathered and connected? Or did people just get to the point now because life's too short? Well, how did that sort of play out?
Certainly when it was communicated that people were not allowed to gather, I immediately went out to the population, of which, believe it or not, is over 2,100 women.
That's awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
I mean, I do not only a monthly email through Constant Contacts, but I also do a Facebook, privately owned Facebook page, which is a phenomenal 2 ways to communicate. It covers everybody because not everybody wants to do Facebook. I do have to say I lack in my Instagram skills, so I've kind of shied away from that, but I'm going to utilize one of our younger members to get me started on that, but not to divert. So when we were immediately not able to gather, I set up a Zoom page for us. Oh no, actually I started it with a phone call, conference call. I used free conference call, and we did conference call first. And I sent out my notification. Here's our conference call number. Really encourage you all to join on. We had over 60 that night.
Wow.
It was incredible. Yeah. And by the way, we only meet once a month. When we first started, it was once a week, but that was way too much for me to manage with being a career woman at the same time. So we are once a month, and we had over 60 on conference call. And then our members started to generously offer their Zoom capabilities. So I utilized those the following, I think it was probably 5 months that we didn't meet in person. And then once, as I mentioned, that we could meet again face to face, our very loyal and generous host here in Fairfield, B. Chocolat, had us to her
that's so
atelier. And we were all outside, and we had our winter coats on because it happened to be in the winter months, but it was so much fun it was actually in October, if I recall. And there's a florist also in the same location next door to the atelier. And she did hot chocolate and Christmas wreaths, how to make a Christmas wreath. And it was awesome. We had a great time. So we dealt with the issue at hand, which was trying to stay safe, courteous to each other, and it worked out. It was wonderful.
Oh, that's great. And how has the nature of gathering, not just physically, but how have you seen the like I said, the nature of gathering, or women coming together, or women creating connections, has that changed in your time since you started this?
I think there's always going to be a concern about gathering, right? And the safety of it. But I have to say, it hasn't affected us dramatically. I haven't seen some faces in years, to be honest with you, that used to be regulars. Now, whether that's just they're at different stages in their lives, or they're still a little gun shy about, social gathering. But I don't worry about it, Nancy, for this group, because I am always attracting 10 to 15 new members every month.
That's wonderful. I guess maybe that's also the question, is that may even answer the question of people are still craving connection. People are still craving to meet new people. And, as much as we're all so busy, we're still looking for meaningful relationships in our lives, right? Like that is a tribute to the success of your organization.
Yes. And I do think that I know that it's a fact for women, but it also seems to be a craving for men, believe it or not.
Yeah, no.
The men that are affiliated with the women in my group have mentioned, I am so jealous you have this group.
Yeah.
They want one.
Yeah, no.
They want one.
That doesn't surprise me. Well, I think my last question would be, Laura, is there advice you would give, given this perspective you have in gathering and creating these connections, for people who this is maybe a new idea or a new concept, whether, I don't know, they're at a different stage in their life, or they've suddenly realized they've found themselves in a new place, or do you have a secret advice for people who might be new to I refuse to use the word networking, but maybe coming into a new group or not sure, some people say you might get to a certain age where making new friends is much harder, but I think you're telling us that's not the case.
I don't think it is, but it's real that people, as I mentioned, get very intimidated when you use the word gathering, connecting. It's a mystery. What does that mean? Do I have to perform? Am I going to be accepted? There's all different kinds of personalities in the world. I'm a gregarious type.
Right.
I enjoy meeting new people. I use the term I like to collect people. Most people aren't like that.
Yeah.
They're very insular and they want to know as much as possible about where they're walking into before they go,
Yeah.
So I think from my standpoint, the more I can explain this group, the better I am, because I am going to attract more of those that are a little bit shyer.
Yeah. And also just telling them that don't have any expectations and anything's going to be a pleasant surprise, right?
Exactly. And it's a safe place.
Yeah,
it's a safe place to come.
Exactly. It sounds that way. Well, Laura, I'm so thrilled that HAYVN has connected us and we've gotten a chance to hear more sort of about how you're bringing connections and community into the world. And if people want to learn more about your group, where's the best ways to find you or the best place to reach out to you or connect with you?
We do have a website, womenforwomenct.com.
Great.
And we also have a Facebook page, which they can Facebook me and I will accept their friendship and add them.
Super.
And it's under my name, Laura Incerto, Incerto. And lastly, once you connect with me, if you want to email me at lincerto@truenorthpromotions.com, I will send you our weekly, or not weekly, but probably bi-monthly email.
Perfect. All right. We'll include all those in the show notes for people who want to reach out and become part of your wonderful, amazing gathering. So thank you for your time, Laura. It was great to speak with you.
You too, Nancy. I really appreciate it. And go HAYVN.
And thank you for listening to another episode of the HAYVN Hubcast.
Thanks for listening to the HAYVN Hubcast, a place to learn what business leaders and owners are doing to navigate and grow in today's market. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. HAYVN is a co-working space and virtual community located in the heart of Fairfield County, Connecticut. HAYVN is a hub for business owners and professionals to connect, create, and get stuff done. Find out more about the HAYVN community online at hayvn.com. That's HAYVN.com. HAYVN Hubcast is produced by Sound Advice Strategies.